a community comes to terms with its past wrongs and tries to make it right. ABC's Will Carr has more.
For more than 4 decades, the Douglas Tigers dominated opponents on the basketball court. Their pictures, spanning from the 1940s to the 1960s, show young teenagers with a true love for the game. While the images are black and white, the memories are far more murky. Douglas was a segregated all-black high school in Kingsport, Tennessee, a quiet town nestled into the Holston River that, at the time, was split by race, much like the rest of the country. In the South, Jim Crow laws mandated that blacks segregate themselves in public, many forced to drink out of separate water fountains, and even eat in separate parts of restaurants.
Well, there were a lot of places we couldn't go, or there were things that we couldn't do. Movies, theaters, we had to sit upstairs. We could not sit on the first floor.
In the late 50s and early 60s, Maxie Dobbins Johnson played guard on the high school girls team, winning trophy after trophy. Competing against other all-black schools, the boys team even won a state championship before the school shut down in 1966. Many of their trophies disappeared. They were placed inside the pristine cases in Dobyns-Bennett, the all-white high school across town.
That big tall one was right here. That trophy stood out like a sore thumb.
For decades, students and alumni assumed that trophy had been earned by white athletes during the segregation era.
It was painful to see that. It was painful to walk by and know that it was just sitting there by itself.
Calvin Sneed, the Douglas High School historian, discovered the mistake. Sneed then found dozens of the lost Douglas trophies stuffed in cardboard boxes inside a dusty closet on the Dobyns-Bennett campus.
Those trophies needed to come home. There were players, there was alumni that wanted to know what happened to our trophies, and to find them was a blessing.
Then Chris Poole, the current head coach of the Dobyns-Bennett boys team, found out about the trophies and the athletes they really belonged to.
The basketball team, they took hand-me-down jerseys from Dobyns-Bennett, and they would dye them in their school colors.
According to the old-timers, during games, that dye would bleed onto the court.
Our guys couldn't fathom living in those times, and that just shows that we've come a long way.
So the city pledged to remember the men and women who played for a school long forgotten.
We realized that we had a very rich history in both our high schools.
That history includes 94-year-old William Hickman.
Does this guy look familiar?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's you. It says that you were the captain of the football team and the co-captain of the basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
What position did you play?
Forward. I never did score that many points, but I rebounded a lot.
93-year-old Richard Watterson, on the other hand, had a knack for the net.
I remember making a lot of points.
You made a lot of points? Did it feel special to you to be part of that team?
We won.
Do you harbor any animosity against the people who discriminated against you?
No, sir.
Why is that?
I worked through it.
More than 70 years later, Watterson and all the other Douglas Tigers, some moving a little slower than they once did on the court, finally got the full recognition from their community they've always deserved. All invited to a trophy presentation at the Dobyns-Bennett basketball games over the weekend. For one special night, the current players even traded in their normal gray and maroon jerseys for the original Douglas colors, sky blue and gold.
Just as an African-American teacher and coach myself, it helps me pay homage to what those who have come before us have done.
That acknowledgement scored big with the former Douglas players.
A long time coming, but I'm glad it has arrived. So it's just realizing that we are all valued, we are all important, and we all need to live together.
I think that's great advice.
Today, more than 50 years after the Douglas Tigers won their last game, their accomplishments and the stories behind them are now on full display.
The past has to be acknowledged. You can't know your history until you look back and see where you've come from.
In Kingsport, Tennessee, Will Carr, ABC News.
Our thanks to Will for that story. Those trophies back with their rightful owners.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.